Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I was talking with a buddy at the gym about different YouTube channels that I watch, because he asked me, who do you watch on YouTube? What kind of channels do you get down with? Maybe I can get turned on to something new. And of course I told him about my channel. But I have a little handful of channels that I subscribe to, that I watch regularly, so let's just go through them. These are in no particular order of importance. I don't even have a list written, just remember off the top of my head, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch YouTube videos on a daily basis, sometimes as a distraction, sometimes as research. If I'm doing research for whatever, if I could be researching a car I want to buy, I could be researching a procedure of metal fabrication, how to do something in the shop. I could be researching a topic for a book that I'm writing, because I write novels. But I also use YouTube every single day in the morning as a form of study, mind, body, and soul. So I pick channels that I can learn from. One of the channels that I think I like the most right now, I may get bored of it, and I've been on it a lot right now these days, I've been on it a lot every day, is Jordan Peterson's channel. He may have a couple, so you can look him up. And the one I watch, they post things every day, and I just can't seem to get enough of his speeches. I like the way he explains things. I could listen to that guy just read the dictionary or read the phone book. So I like his channel. I think there's a lot of value of what he talks about. Every intellectual that I've run across, there's always that line that I fall into where I don't agree. I'll agree with some things, but then I'll be like, I don't know about that. Oddly enough, with Jordan Peterson, I feel like I am just like right in pace with this guy. So far, and I haven't heard everything, but so far everything he said, I'm just like, yeah, well, that sounds right to me. So that's odd, and I'm enjoying that. So check out Jordan Peterson. I think you get some value out of him. Another guy that I watch, that I like, he's a life coach, he's a mentor. He's out of San Diego, but he moved to Arizona, I think, recently. But it's this guy, Big Herc 916. Big Herc, H-E-R-C 916. And Big Herc is a former convict. He did 10 years in the feds for bank robbery. And he's, pretty big guy. Looks physically intimidating. And he does a lot of videos talking about positivity, about mindset training and being masters of our own minds and getting rid of negativity and those types of things. And he learned a lot of that kind of stuff while he was in prison. He wrote some sort of book, which I haven't read his book. I probably should. But he posts videos daily, and Big Herc has a lot of knowledge. And it's funny because Big Herc's younger than me by a little bit. I assume he's in his 40s. I think we're similar generation, at least. But it's always weird to me when I get a lot of knowledge from someone younger than me, and I like that. I don't think that knowledge always comes with age, and I don't think that wisdom is always or should be monopolized by old people. I think that young people have wisdom, and just because a guy's younger than me by 5 or 10 years or whatever doesn't mean I can't learn something from him, right? So Big Herc 916, go check him out. He's got some pretty good videos. He talks about good topics. I don't like all of his videos because some of the times he talks about celebrity stuff. Now, that's probably just because he's from California, and California motherfuckers are always talking about celebrity shit. It's just part of the culture. They don't care. In Los Angeles, they don't care about politics. You want to talk to them about, Nancy Pelosi or Donald Trump, they're just going to roll their eyes. They don't care. But they want to talk about about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, about their trial. They want to talk about that shit. You know, they want to talk about the celebrity stuff. It's always weird. For somebody, I've never really cared about celebrities. And when I lived out there, it was weird having these conversations with people. Celebrity gossip, like they all watch TMZ, like it's a fucking nightly news. Who else do I watch? I like Jocko's podcast, Jocko Willink. I think it's Willink. But you could push in Jocko podcast, Jocko. He's a former Navy SEAL instructor, teams leader, and I like a lot of the stuff he talks about. Now, he gets into some stuff about military stuff, and if you're a military guy, you may love it. I wasn't in the military, so some of it just goes zoom right over my head, because he'll bring on these guests and they get into their jargon. These military guys have this way of talking, kind of like guys in the streets. You get me around a bunch of gang members, and if you're not part of that world, you could get lost real quick. You have no idea what we're talking about in about 3 minutes, 2 minutes. You have no idea what's going on anymore. And that's kind of the way I felt on a couple of Jocko's podcasts. But he gets into a lot of issues about discipline, about how to be stronger people. I love that kind of shit. And he's got a really good head on his shoulders. And that guy's a pretty wise guy. And he's similar age to me. Maybe a year or two different. I don't know what he is, what age he is. I'd have to Google him. But I definitely suggest go checking out Jocko Willink. Another one that I like that is not a podcast, it's just a YouTube channel where the guy spits a lot of knowledge. It's called Academy of Ideas. And I'll be honest, the guy's boring to listen to sometimes. I'm recommending a channel that I just said was a little boring, but sometimes it's like being in college for me. Sometimes this guy is like a professor, and he really gets into, dives deep into some of these topics and explains things really well. Talks a lot about classical psychology, talks a lot about philosophy. Sometimes gets into, political issues, but not really partisan issues. Doesn't look at it from a partisan perspective, more of a psychological perspective, so we can understand who we are as people. And that's kind of what I like. I really like to be able to understand myself and to understand others, understand people's motives. So Academy of Ideas is a really good channel, and I think you get a lot of value out of it. Another one that I listen to is Alan Watts. I always promote Alan Watts. He's got a channel, but there's a lot of stuff. If you just push in Alan Watts on YouTube in the search function, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of people posting Alan Watts shit. He's dead. He was a philosopher, a legit philosopher. Didn't have some day job. That's all he was a philosopher. And he's been dead for many years. He's my parents' generation. He came out in like the 40s, was popular through the 50s and 60s, and then the hippies kind of latched onto him, and he was already an old guy by the time the hippies latched onto him in the late 60s. But he talks about heavy duty issues, everything, like the biggest issues, life, death. He has some topics where he kind of mixes philosophy and quantum physics. I mean, that's heavy duty intellectual stuff, and some of it goes over my head, but I've been listening to Alan Watts for 20 years. I literally can't get enough of him. I love that guy. I wish he was my dad. The last one, this isn't, there may be others, but this is the last one I can think of. This guy, Wes Watson. Now, some of you may have heard Wes Watson. He's become very popular. For those of you who haven't heard of who he is, Wes Watson is another one of these convicts turned life coaches, and he's got big muscles, shaved head, covered in tattoos, and shitty prison tattoos, and he's very intense. His level of intensity is so through the roof that it feels forced to me. It feels like it's his shtick, you know, that's his character. He's trying to brand himself through this intensity, and he comes across to me like a professional wrestler, like Macho Man Randy Savage. So go watch Wes Watson, and tell me what you think, if you think that he also reminds you of Randy Savage, because he's just like, yeah, you know, he I can't do that without breaking into laughter, but he's really intense with it. The guy tells prison stories, which in my personal opinion, you may be fascinated with that stuff. My personal opinion, prison stories are boring. They just are. I'm sick of it. And it's the same story every time. And if you've ever been there, that you really don't, it's boring. But he spits a lot of game as well. And he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He's a life coach and a personal trainer. And he really is well read, I should say, well studied. He knows his stuff, and the stuff he talks about, I go into it very skeptical, and I'll end up with some of the, after watching a 10-minute video of his, and be like, wow, that was right, exactly on time. That was totally true. So check out Wes Watson. Tell me what you think, if you get a giggle out of him also. These are just some of the people that I follow on YouTube. Thanks for watching.